just like to say a few things here. I'll try and take this out. I don't like standing on one place. Firstly, what have we got here? We've got a Labour government that over-budgeted by $88 million. And who are they blaming? Us. Us. And what do we want? We want free education now. Because I spoke to Phil Goff about this. I went along and I played the little political game of being very nice, and I said, what is the position? And he said, well, I just feel that people go through university and then they get careers and then they make lots of money and then they can pay some of it back. And I said, okay, I'm doing political studies. By your reasoning, I become an MP and then I can pay some of my money back. And then I informed Mr. Goff that I knew that he had studied at Auckland University, that he had studied political studies there. And when he started paying back his education, I might think about paying back mine. I really feel like marching right back up the road again, because I can't say how angry I am because it's an expletive and I'm sure someone in blue will come and get me, but I'm sure you feel the same way. We should not have to pay for Lungi's mistakes. If we have children, they should be able to come to university and study. Just because your parents don't have 3 cars and 2 batches and a boat doesn't mean that you aren't as intelligent as anyone else. Okay? What do we want? When do we want it? Now! Thank you.
Shit. What's up? I'll take this out. I like to move around as well. Okay. Everybody knows why they came here to march. Everybody knows all the issues. There's a small group of people on campus, overseas students. What a pathetic little group, but overseas students, okay, I'm here to speak for them on their behalf. Everybody knows that cost recovery has been an issue for years and years and years. Okay, this time the government have found a way to charge some students full cost fees. They've targeted overseas students. In the end, it's going to be an issue for all students because we are just going to be the thin edge of a massive wedge for cost recovery for all students. I think cost recovery is an issue for everybody. All you private overseas students, scholarship students, local students, everybody, because cost recovery in the end means paying $10,000 for an arts degree per year and paying $18,000 for a BSc for 1 year and $24,000 for a medical degree. That's what cost recovery is all about. Okay, we've put together several campaigns, petitions, letter writing, talking to MPs, submissions, getting down on our knees and everything because we feel very, very strongly about this. We have Malaysian students out there talking to Joe Public out in the corner there last weekend. Really, really good. Communicate with the public. Get everybody to know. That's what all students should be doing. That's the sort of position we're in. There is a proposal in government right now, right this minute, this month, that will most likely impose some sort of cost recovery fees for everybody. We're very, very afraid of this. If we get hit, God knows what happens next.
Thank you, New Zealand.
And the overseas students here in Auckland. Just want to say something about the effect of such fees on us. The government is intending to impose the fees that John Tanga mentioned. It also wants to impose transition fees on the overseas students who are already here, on the 7 formers and the ones at varsity. They're talking of charging fees of 1/3 and then 2/3 and then full fees at the last year. This comes up to about 8,000 New Zealand dollars. We ran a survey recently looking at the income of Malaysian families. They on the average earn only 12,000 New Zealand dollars. So if the fees here cost 8,000, the students' expenses cost 6,000. What the hell are the families at home going to do? Where are they going to find the money from? Students over here cannot afford to pay the fees. They're going to have to go home. They're going to suffer a lot. New Zealand is also going to suffer a lot because of the loss of the cultural links that we bring. They're going to lose out on tourism. it's going to bring New Zealand a very bad name, because New Zealand is the last vestige in the world where poor students can really afford to come. They cannot go to Australia, they cannot go to UK. New Zealand is a place on their minds. When they go home, they will bring New Zealand back with them. They will bring the thoughts of New Zealand, and you know, this is the only way that New Zealand can maintain its influence in Asia. So I suggest, for reasons, for material, for things that are unseen, the material things that are unseen through cultural links, you should continue to support us, because there's only a limited number of courses that we can take, and only a limited number of places that we do take up, and all these balances up with the values that we bring around here will balance out with the places that we take, which is not many, and the costs that we might take up, which is also again not true, because we contribute about New Zealand 15 million in foreign exchange, so we contribute to your GNP. So I think you should fight for us as well. Thank you.
For this, I don't know how much I'll use it. My name's Anne, I'm from the New Zealand University Students Association, I'm the Vice President. To start this off, yes, I'll speak up. Right. It's an exciting time for education at the moment. There's actually a lot happening. People are looking at the education and saying, what do we want from it? What are we trying to get? It's an important process for students to be involved in. What I do want to talk about is the significance of public education, why it should continue to be publicly funded. The government's approach to education funding, particularly higher education funding, has exposed the real objectives of this government. The removal of the state from providing nearly all of its services in favour of the free market. What this does is removes the public from the decision-making process and removes the state, it removes our input. The users will pay, those will be the big businesses who are putting the money in. Sorry, I lost my place. If there was an area of social spending that was ever so important as it is now, it's education. The economy is going through radical change. Technology changes radically all the time. People need to be trained and retrained. They need the skills to be able to learn. I lose speech now. That's why education is important now. That's why we need a lot of people educated now. People have been saying a lot about the overseas student proposal, and one of the things I would point out to domestic students is there is actually no space within our own universities. There are no places for these people because the government has not provided the places for the people who are already here. So when they introduce full cost recovery fees for overseas students, what will happen to New Zealand students is what will have happened in Australia. They will lose out. And what we need is an education system that provides for everyone. We move on to the graduate tax proposal. It's superficially attractive, it looks very simple, and it seems it would work. It will work in Australia perhaps because they have such a high pool of graduates to tax. It won't work in New Zealand because we have so few people in education at the moment. And how are you going to get those people in? You provide the services that they need. Thank you, I'll finish off now. Actually, I might go to my last couple of paras. Whoa, actually, what you doing? I just wrap up this. I think it's important to realise where this kind of thing fits in the whole process of what's going on in the government at the moment. And that is that people believe that the more you lower tax rates, the more you'll be able to charge individuals for specific services. Now that starts with us and it moves on through. It's moving in health, and there are clear indications that the PICO proposal is going to be deregulatory. In Wellington at the moment there are students marching, in Massey, in Canterbury. There are people all over New Zealand who are concerned and worried. I urge you to keep that concern, because education is the most important thing that we have, and it's the thing that will equip us to take us through. The government has told us that they're committed, and we really need some clear indication about what that commitment means, because it's not coming through now. Thank you all.
Was the one thing, and that is that David Longing takes it up the arse, doo-dah, doo-dah. We have got to tell him, and that includes the public, that includes the bloody public, that he can try screwing the superannuitants, he can try screwing the workers, but he can't screw us because we've got nothing to lose, we've only got everything to gain. And we've got to tell him that, we've got to make sure that we protect our interests and the interests of all the public's children out there. Get on to it.
And say thank you, New Zealand.
That was enough! All that person had to say as an overseas student was, thank you, New Zealand. And we thought that was great. What did we think it was? That's great! Let's hear it! That's great! I can't hear you! That's great! Because what do you want? A free education! What do you want? A free education! And when do you want it? You want it now! We want them in Wellington to hear that. So let's really say it, because I've stopped the rain today. I promise you, it is not going to rain. And the reason it's not going to rain is that we've got a few old folks here today who are wearing collars and ties. We've got the best support in the country for this march. The police are so convinced we're right, they came with them. The police are so committed to not allowing us, people who have taken the time and shown the ability to be responsible young New Zealanders who intend to show a government that needs to see what responsible young people can do. They have stayed quietly in the background, and I want 3 cheers for the police for their support. Hip hip! Hey! Hip hip! Hey! Hip hip! Hey! And the reason that I know we can say this is that policemen, before they don that uniform of respect, get to go to school too. And like you people, they eventually go into tertiary education. They go to Trentham. Now we know where they study. When you become teachers, you can help them become better policemen in the future. That's why this government is going to start to hear from us. Not just from you and me, but from our mums and dads, our brothers and sisters, our uncles and aunts. And as I see gentlemen standing around here like Frank, who's relating Richard, who's related even closer to the policeman. Richard has gone out of his way and worn a moustache. Because I have a theory.
Well, should this